So this is part 2 of the direct and inverse day. Friendly reminder, direct, we divide. So it's going to be y over x. And the equation is y equals kx. Versus inverse, we multiply. And that's just x times y. And the equation for that one is y equals k over x. So up to this point, I've told you, hey, y varies directly with x or whatever else. Sometimes they'll just tell you, determine whether the relations are direct or inverse, and then write an equation. So the first thing you need to do is determine if it's inverse or direct. So direct means divide, inverse means multiply. So by far the easiest thing to do is multiply. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 6 times negative 4, okay, so then I would say 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Now obviously those are not the same, so it's not going to be inverse. So now I try to divide. So remember, divide, it's y over x. So if I go over here, this is negative 2 over 3. This would be negative 4 over 6, which reduces down to negative 2 over 3. This would be negative 6 over 9, which would reduce to negative 2 over 3, and so forth. So since I divided, it's going to be a direct variation. Okay, direct is divide. So my k is equal to negative 2/3. I know it's direct, and so I straight up just plug it into my equation, which is y equals kx. If my k is negative 2/3, y equals negative 2/3 x. Next one. Same thing. I'm just determining if it's going to be inverse or variation first. So multiplying is by far easier. So let's start with multiplication. Negative 3 times negative 6 is 18. Negative 2 times negative 9 is 18. Negative 1 times negative 18 is 18. And 6 times 3 is 18. So since I multiplied, it's going to be an inverse variation. Okay? So inverse variation, the equation is y equals k over x. This is our k. So since that is our k, we're going to plug it in right there. So y equals 18 over x. Here's everybody's favorite, word problems. Okay, so the first thing you need to do with word problems is set yourself up. So y over x. Here's the biggie. Y always varies with x. No matter if it's a direct or an inverse, y always varies with x. So you need to, I didn't mean to do that. You have y and x. All right, so let's read it. The number of pencils. All right, so the number of pencils is y. Varies directly, circle it, be dramatic, as the cost. All right, so this is going to be a direct variation. And then we need to set ourselves up. So we should have 2 ordered pairs. Okay, so the first one says if 5 pencils cost 45 cents. All right, so let's go for here. 5 pencils. Pencils is y. So 5 goes in the y slot. 45 cents is the cost. That's the x. Okay, let's set up our second ordered pair. Find the cost for 7 pencils. So 7, the number is the number of pencils, which is y. So 7 goes over here. We don't know x. So now, just like we did on the last video, we go ahead and set ourselves up. Direct is divide. So I would do y over x. So 5 over 0.45 equals 7 over x. Let's do some cross multiplying. 5 times x is 5x. 7 times 0.45 is, let me check. 7 times 0.45 is 3.15, and then you divide both sides by 5. X equals 0.63. 0.63. And remember, that's money, so put your dollar sign on there. So 63 cents. Next one. All right, an electrical current. So remember, it's always y varies whatever with x. So set your y up, set your x up. So y is an electrical current. So electrical current. X is the second thing they're talking about, which is resistance. Inverse. It's an inverse. It's an inverse. Okay. Let's go ahead and set up our two ordered pairs. Okay, the first thing says the current is 40 amps. So the current is Y. So I need to go to Y. And then the resistance is 12. Find the current, so we don't know what the current is, when the resistance is 20. So resistance is X. For inverse, remember we multiply. So I'm going to do 12 times 40 equals 20 times Y. 12 times 40 is 480. And 20 times Y is 20Y. And now I divide both sides by 20. Y equals 24. And then we got to figure out, what was it? 24 is electrical current. And that's amps. So amps. That's an equals, not a negative. All right. So y, x. Y always varies with x. So the distance, I need to stop a car, varies directly, okay, as the square of its speed. All right, so speed is going to be the x. Let's set up our two. It requires 120 meters to stop. So meters is distance. And guys, if you want to, you can put the units. It'd probably be better if we put the units. So meters was distance and speed is kilometers per hour. Let's go back to the other two real quick too. Electrical current, the Y's was the amps. And this is ohms. And then the number of pencils is just a number, and then cost is money. All right. We should have been doing that the whole time. All right, so let's see. So distance, the first it says 120 meters. Meters is distance, so that's Y. So that's my Y value for the first one. To stop a car at 70 kilometers per hour. What is the distance? So we don't know the distance that is required to stop a car at 80 kilometers per hour. 80 is your X. Oops. Okay, it's direct. So remember, if it's a direct variation, we divide. So I take the first one, it's y over x equals y over x. Now I cross multiply. 70 times y is 70y. 120 times 80 is 9,600. And we divide both sides by 70. To give us 137.1. And I go back up meters. Okay, last one. The number of hours. All right, so y always varies with x. The number of hours is required to do a job varies inversely as the number of people. Okay, set up your two ordered pairs. It takes 8 hours, so hours is y, 8 hours for 4 people to paint the inside of a house. How long would it take for 5 people? People is x, so 5 people. Okay, it's an inverse. Inverse means to multiply, so we're going to multiply our coordinates. 4 times 8 equals 5 times y. 4 times 8 is 32. Divide both sides by 5. Y equals 6.4. And then remember, y was what? Hours. 6.4 hours. And that's it.